Could Trial of the Chicago 7 potentially win Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars? That is the question.
We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you.
23.
Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Steffi, aka In My Humble Opinion, and welcome back to another I Made Show Film Club movie review. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a movie that I wasn't that excited to watch, but for the purpose of really making an effort to watch as many Oscar movies as possible, I sat myself down and was like, you know what, you gotta watch it because this is a front runner, and that movie is The Trial of the Chicago 7. So The Trial of the Chicago 7 stars Eddie Redmayne, Sacha Baron Cohen, Jeremy Strong, Alex Sharp, John Carroll Lynch, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Mark Rylance, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Frank Langella, and Michael Keaton. And it was written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. So The Trial of the Chicago 7 is a courtroom drama based on the infamous 1969 trial of 7 defendants: Abbie Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, David Dellinger, Tom Hayden, Rennie Davis, John Froines, and Lee Weiner, who were anti-Vietnam War protesters charged with conspiracy and crossing state lines with the intention of inciting riots at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago. This movie was nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor for Sacha Baron Cohen, Cinematography, Film Editing, Best Original Song, and Best Original Screenplay. Woo! So yes, as in all my movie reviews here on this channel, I'm going to be talking about the pros, the cons, and then I'm going to give my overall rating and review at the very end. So let's get into it. Alright, so let's talk about some of the pros. So my first pro to this movie is, I will admit, it is a very well written script. So this is a very typical Aaron Sorkin script and story. You have your quick-paced, snappy dialogue, and all of the characters talk in this very intelligent way that kind of makes you wish when you're watching, man, I wish I could be that eloquent in my real life. There's also that political courtroom high-stakes setting that is very home to Aaron Sorkin. And let's face it, he excels very well in that. And I would say too, specifically when it comes to The Trial of the Chicago 7, this story in particular has a lot of moving parts. You have to set up and follow different characters, you have to efficiently give the audience some sort of historical and cultural context of the time, and you also have to show the political dynamics within the courtroom and somehow make it all come together in an interesting way that doesn't feel like you're watching a history lecture come to life. And you know what? He does that. I was genuinely engaged throughout the entire movie despite the fact that it is over 2 hours long. My second pro to this movie is I really loved the editing. The editing for this movie is really well done. And again, kind of like what I was saying in terms of its script, it's hard, I would imagine, to edit a story like this because there are so many moving parts. In particular, I thought the opening sequence was really well edited. I loved the way they set up the different characters and where each of them were from and like what groups they belong to. So they would show a particular character talking and then mid-sentence they would cut to a different character in a different place, and they were probably saying something that is in complete contrast to the beliefs of the previous character. I just thought it was a really exciting opening and a great way to establish all of the main players in the story. And it just gave the movie great momentum at the very start. I thought the flashback scenes were really well integrated into the story, unlike another movie I reviewed last week. And I thought they made smart choices in terms of when they would utilize the flashback. Another sequence that I liked as well in terms of the editing was the reveal of Fred Hampton's assassination. It was just gunshots, and every time you heard a gunshot they showed a picture of the assassination. And also, I just have to say too, I loved personally that I watched Judas and the Black Messiah prior to watching Trial of the Chicago 7 because I was just like, oh yeah, that's right, nice connection between these two movies. My third pro of this movie is the performance of the ensemble cast. So as you guys heard, the people who are involved in this movie, this is a very well stacked cast. cast. You have Oscar-winning actors, Oscar-nominated actors, and just in general really good working actors who probably at some point will receive an Oscar nomination in their career. I really thought everyone did a good job, and for me it's kind of hard to pick just one standout because across the board, again, I thought everyone did a really good job. I know Sacha Baron Cohen is the person that got nominated out of everybody here. He plays Abby Hoffman, and Abby Hoffman is this very charismatic, smart-ass, stick-it-to-the-man kind of guy, which totally makes sense as to why they would cast Sacha Baron Cohen for this role. But what I thought was interesting about watching him in Trial of the Chicago 7 is he got to show off a little bit more of his dramatic side. And it was really interesting for me to watch this movie as well because I watched this right after watching Borat's subsequent movie film. So I was like, whoa, this is crazy that this is the same guy. In terms of other actors that I really enjoyed in the movie, I thought Mark Rylance as the lead defense attorney was really great. I thought Eddie Redmayne as Tom Hayden was great as well. He was kind of the more quiet, pragmatic one. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that Eddie Redmayne wasn't the one that got nominated in this movie. I even thought Frank Langella as the judge for the trial, even though I like freaking hated him, he is the worst judge ever. I thought he was really great. The cameo by Michael Keaton as the former Attorney General of the United States was a nice surprise. I had no idea he was in this movie. And you know, I also really loved Joseph Gordon-Levitt, John Carroll Lynch, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen. I thought they were really great in this movie. So, you know, again, like you can tell, it's really hard for me to just pick one performance that just stood out for me. So my fourth part of this movie is its subject matter. I personally don't really remember learning about the trial of the Chicago 7, and if I did, it was probably a footnote or just a couple of sentences. So I think it's really great that at least a movie, let alone a really high quality, well done movie about this story, is getting acknowledged by the Oscars and is on Netflix and is available for people to watch and at least gain awareness of this story and learn what happened. Are there creative liberties and freedoms taken with the story? Of course, it's a movie, it's Hollywood, but I still think the basic idea of this story was to show the corruptness of the police, the unfair justice system, and the way those two entities can be manipulated in favor of the government. And of course, like everyone and their mother has been saying, this is definitely a story that is very relevant to what is going on. And that's definitely a sad thing to think, because the fact that this story took place over 40 years ago and we're still going through the same challenges as they were back then, a bit of a downer, but at least for me personally, I'm happy that I eventually made myself watch it because this is a very powerful, important story. Alright, let's move on to some of the cons. My first con is the freaking music cue moment that happens at the very end. So really, like the last scene of this movie, Eddie Redmayne's character is given the opportunity to make a statement, like a closing statement on behalf of the other defendants. And the judge tells him, I really respect you because you are the one person that respected me, respected the court, and I feel like you have a future in this world. And I would just like you to keep your statement respectful, remorseful, and brief. Eddie Redmayne's character goes, what was the third one? And then Frank Langella's like, brief. And it's like, oh my God, this is such a dramatic moment. Eddie Redmayne goes,
Your Honor, since this trial began, 4,752 U.S. troops have been killed in Vietnam. And the following are their names.
And you're like, ooh, drama, dramatic, yes. And everyone like is standing up and then they like start doing their slow clap and it's this like emotional moment. And then this orchestral music kicks in and it just swells and I hated it. I hated it so much. I hate that choice because I felt like it really just undercut that entire moment and it made it feel like this Hollywood self-congratulatory ending of like, oh, isn't it great that we can call out when things are wrong? Oh, I hated that choice and it sucks because it's the end. It's the ending of the movie. What a horrible choice. Alright, well my overall rating for Trial of the Chicago 7 is a solid A-. Trial of the Chicago 7 checks the boxes of a typical Aaron Sorkin film. Quick intellectual dialogue? Check. High stakes political atmosphere? Check. Liberal idealism? Check. This is an Aaron Sorkin movie through and through, and I'm not going to hold that against it, because to me, it is well executed. The story of the Chicago 7 is a compelling and important one that seems tailor-made to Sorkin's sensibilities. Now, does it do anything new or reinvent the wheel in any way? No. And to some, that may be a deal breaker. But to me, the real deal breaker was that god-awful choice of the orchestral music at the very end. Alright, well that's about it for this video. If you liked it, please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and please turn on the notification button down below so you know when a new video from me comes out. And comment down below your thoughts on my review. Comment down below your thoughts on Trial of the Chicago 7. I know this movie came out a couple of months ago, but again, if you haven't noticed on this channel, I've been trying to watch as many Oscar contender movies as possible, and so of course I naturally had to talk about this movie. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on it, and yeah, that's pretty much it from me. As always, everything I said was just my own personal thoughts and all my humble opinion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!